Hi, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm an accountant and a small business consultant. And I've been in business for over 10 years. And one thing that has been pretty constant throughout that time is I'm always looking for ways to increase my rate so I can work with clients that are looking for that higher quality of service while giving myself some time to have some more work life balance so I can enjoy my life while I enjoy my work. And in pursuit of that, I've tried many things. And I think that the best thing that I've done is to switch to a value pricing mindset. And this happened probably about 4 years ago as I started listening to Ron Baker, Mark Wickersham, and a couple of the experts in value pricing. And it really got my mind thinking about, how do I price my services based on the value that I'm bringing to the table, or better yet, the value that my customers extract from the body of work. The challenge is that there's always a potential discrepancy between what we value as a service professional, as an accountant, and what the customers value as a person in the receiving end of our services. So that value pricing mindset is not only about switching from hourly to fixed fees, is also thinking about adding value and creating value throughout the entire customer's life cycle. So I came up with these 6 opportunities to create value to your customers, whether you're a service professional. So this is obviously for accountants mostly, but if you're a service professional of any type or a knowledge provider, that means that people pay you for your knowledge, you may want to pay attention to these 6 opportunities to creating value. Now, this is an excerpt from a 3-hour webinar I will be doing at late August. I'm going to put the link down in the description so you can log in and sign up for it. I will also enter a coupon code. So if you sign up before July 31st, there'll be a special discount. If you sign up afterwards, there will be a permanent price for people that can either watch it live or watch the recording. So check that out on the description below. Let's jump right into the 6 opportunities to create value. And again, I don't think these are the only opportunities to create value, but these are the 6 that I can think that have affected me personally as an accountant, as a business advisor, as a knowledge professional, selling my knowledge or getting paid to distribute this knowledge. These are the 6 that I can put into a framework that will get you thinking more or less in terms of, okay, so wherever you stand in that customer life cycle, how are you creating value for them? So these are the 6. We're going to have positioning value, understanding value, performance value, results value, membership value, and tail value. So I'm gonna go through them real quick, and I encourage you to check out the webinar where we're gonna go really in depth in all of them. But let me just go real quick so you give you a general idea. So the positioning value are all the activities that you do to create value for that customer before your engagement, before you even know that that person is interested in your services. So what kind of things do you do for positioning value? Well, one of them is to create a strong brand. Your brand and the brand of your business, it's really what weighs in at the moment of pricing your services, because your customers will have that additional confidence to buy from you or to pay a premium price for your services. And even better, you don't want to be comparable or compared to other service providers. You also have a huge opportunity to create authoritative content. And by authoritative content, I mean blog posts, ebooks, videos, podcasts. All these things are extremely inexpensive to put together. In some cases are 100% free to put together. In the cases of what I do, which is, write some blog posts on my website and create some YouTube videos. And they can have a huge impact on your customer. But the most important thing is you want this authoritative content to speak to your target client specifically, whether you're specializing on a particular vertical, like a specific industry, or if you're specializing in a particular horizontal, which is the specific task. So you can specialize either, let's say, on construction, that's an industry you can specialize on, or you can specialize on solving a specific problem, like preparing financial reports for project-based businesses where you account for work in progress accounting, for example, just to throw one out there. But you can either focus on a specific task or problem that you fix, or a particular vertical or business industry that you want to work on. Some people call that the niche. I think the niche is a bit more specific, but your positioning is how people view you, or how people think about you before you open your mouth. Right? So where do you stand in terms of your price, your specialty, how you're poised and set up to serve that customer specifically, your target customer specifically. So that's the positioning value. The second one is what I call the understanding value. This is, how much is it worth for the customer to feel that my service provider understands me, understands my needs? So this is where you create value during the needs assessment, during that initial meeting where you ask those great why questions. Why do you want this? Why do you think this is the best solution? Why are we the best person to why do you contact us? Why are you switching accountants? All those questions that you need to learn, which is called the value conversation, is one of the biggest value drivers in terms of creating value for your customers. And together with that comes in offering the solution, offering options, and presenting your proposal. So that all that stuff is what I call the understanding value. It's how the customer feels whether or not my service provider or knowledge professional understands me, my business, and my situation. The third one is performance value. This is the value you create while performing your work. This is what most service professionals think is the only place where they create value. Like, most people think, oh, I create value because I do such great work. And that's true. Doing great work is an absolutely really, really important place to add value. The problem is, funny enough, this is not the largest or biggest area of value priority that the customer puts into play when choosing to work with you. They're going to trust that you're a professional. They're going to trust that you're an expert if you understand their business and position your services in a way that it makes sense for them to hire you. Automatically, the performance value comes into play before they hire you. But then, while you're working with your client, the experience that your client goes through, all the communications, all the different touch points, with the portion that they see, because as a service professional, we show our customers part of the process, and some of it is sort of behind the curtain or behind the scenes. So it's just really important to have clarity around what is it that the customer is going to be exposed to, and what is it that they're going to see. And you want to control that very well to manage that customer's experience. And that's really where a lot of the value comes from in terms of that opportunity in the customer lifecycle. Then the fourth, which some people would think is the most important one, that with the understanding value, which is the results value. The results value is the value you create by delivering the results the customer expected and the results that the customers can get from the outcome of your work product. So the presentation of the services at the end is extremely important. It's important to identify what is the economic value that the customer drives from your services and what is the emotional value that the customer gets from your services. So emotional value would be like peace of mind, right? That's emotional value. But the results value encompasses how the customer feels when you complete that work. And that's a really important piece. And you want to present that as such because you need to add value at this point. This is where the customer at the end gets impressed with your work, for the lack of a better term. Now, a really important piece of the results value is whether or not you have a guarantee in place. So can you guarantee results? Yes. Obviously, the more precise your results are in terms of your guarantee, the higher the cost of your services. Sometimes you can guarantee a range of results, and then hedge a little bit so you're not as exposed. But you want to slap a guarantee to that, saying, hey, if we don't deliver this results, or if you don't get this outcome, or you're not 100% wowed and satisfied by our work, we're going to guarantee it and do it for you all over again without charging extra or giving you your money back, no questions asked. So that guarantee is a huge part of that results value. Now, 5 is what I call the membership value. And this is a kind of a funny one. Being part of a club or an association with a specific service provider or brand is a big component of how people buy. When people buy Apple products, they're not just buying an Apple product because they think an Apple product is better. They are part of the Apple Users Club. This was a lot more pronounced in the 80s, 90s, when Apple wasn't such an ubiquitous brand. Nowadays, everybody has an Apple. But at the beginning, it was sort of a cult brand. And that association with the brand said a lot about you as an individual or you as a business. So you want to find a way to create membership value. So when folks are working with you as a service professional, or they're buying your product, or they're becoming part of your membership, whatever happens to be, that they feel that there's an extension of your brand to them, and they're part of something that's bigger than them, and they're part of something that's really highly valued. And that membership value is huge. Think about the folks that go to Harvard, or those big name universities. A lot of it is not specifically because of the quality of the education. A lot of it is because you have access to the alumni network, and that's the membership value that a brand like Harvard has created. So it's not just about the education, it's about that value that you get afterwards. And the sixth one is what I'm calling the tail value. And this is the value that you generate, or at least the perceived value that you generate after the work is completed. What is the enduring value of your work product? Is your customer transformed for many, many years after working with you, even if they stopped working with you? Have you impacted your client's life and business in such a way that they don't need to work with you anymore, but your teachings and your work stays and has a long tail effect in terms of how they function? Now, how much you will be available for servicing after the work is done is also a really big part of the tail value. So for example, you can do somebody's tax return, and you're done and you got paid, and maybe they don't hire you for the next year. But if the customer perceived that having you prepare the tax return for that year, if they get audited 3, 4, 5 years later, that you're going to be there and available to support your claims. This is what a lot of folks call the post-warranty customer service. Another interesting one is, let's say, for example, you're going to buy a car, and the car company is an unknown car company. It's a brand new car company. Nobody knows it, and they give you, let's say, a 15-year guarantee. Let's just say it, a 15-year guarantee. And let's say that you historically have owned cars for, let's say, 20 years. So although they're giving you this incredible 15-year guarantee, you still are worried that maybe 15 years later, between the 15th and the 20th year, your company will not be there to provide parts, right, to replace for that vehicle that may need service in the future. That's kind of what I mean by that is your business positioned to make the client feel that you will be there way past the warranty period, way past the project, just to service them or have access to the information. Listen, just working with someone for one time, that maybe 2-3 years later I can call them and they remember what they did for me, that has value. That has tons of value. And that's that tail value element of it. So anyway, I wanted to give you just a quick summary of the 6 opportunities to create value. I want to deep dive into this 6 with some specific techniques and examples of stuff that I've done in the past, stuff that I helped other accountants, professionals in the past in terms of this same framework. And that's going to be on the webinar that I will have in August 2018. So I'll put the link below. I'll put it in the video as well. Put the link below. Click on that if you want to check out the full webinar on value pricing that's going to be focused on this concept of creating value. Hope this is helpful. Thank you.